Joining us on the line right now is Ian Bremmer. Let's get his take on what's happening. Ian Bremmer, of course, is president of the Eurasia Group. Ian, thank you for getting on the line with us very, very quickly on this quickly developing story. Now, looking at where we are right now, what is your initial reaction? Let's start there.
Well, look, I mean, clearly President Trump deserves credit for this opening. The fact that Kim Jong-un has expressed a willingness to engage in talks, that he is also willing, as long as talks are continuing, it looks like unilaterally ceasing ballistic missile, ICBM, and nuclear tests. That is all unprecedented. You didn't get under Obama, didn't get it under Bush. It's a big deal, and no question this is a positive move. But let's also be clear that if we're going to have direct meeting between Trump and Kim, there's a lot at stake. And the likelihood of an actual diplomatic breakthrough from an American president who wants a deal is reasonably high. It's higher than it's been at any point since the conflict started. I don't know if that means it's 20% to 30%, but it's real. But also the possibility that it could go badly, that Trump could feel embarrassed, that they make an agreement that Kim Jong-un then backslides on. Trump is going to be much more invested as a consequence, whether it's up or down. And therefore, the likelihood of confrontation also goes up, the likelihood that this goes to war. So, and what's very clear is we're going to be paying an awful lot more attention to North Korea, and Trump is going to stake more of the success or failure of his presidency on this deal. And given the fact that North Korea is one of the most intractable and dangerous problems in the world, and that Trump has no experience in this field and is erratic, to say the least, it's a very dangerous thing.
Yeah, you know, this could be a very big gamble, Ian, and we've been hearing from some that are saying we've seen a White House and South Korea that's been very reactive, not really proactive when it comes to North Korea. That is really Kim Jong-un that is driving these conversations. He's initiating them. Is this a gift to Pyongyang?
There's no question that there's an opportunity for Pyongyang. I mean, the fact that South Korea has felt alienated by the United States, both in terms of the fire and fury comment from Trump and the potential for preemptive strike, that feels like America first. It really doesn't feel like a South Korea first policy. So the South Korean government has felt the need to work with North Korea, irrespective of what the Americans have to say. Also, the trade issues, steel, aluminum, clearly undermining South Korea's strong alliance relationship with the United States. So I think that provides more space for Kim Jong-un. But let's be clear, the sanctions against North Korea have stepped up dramatically under the Trump administration, and in large part because of the Trump administration. The American pressure on China, the potential of preemptive strikes against North Korea, that led the Chinese to take the issue more seriously. It led them to support greater sanctions from the United Nations Security Council. These are unanimous sanctions driven by the United States. They've cut back on smuggling. They've started cracking down on joint ventures between China and North Korea. None of that is good for North Korea. So we shouldn't be looking at this as purely, Pyongyang is getting the better of this deal so far.
Ian, very quickly, China's role in this. How much does the international community have to thank China for what's happening here, too?
The Chinese have the most at stake. They're the ones that have been funding most of the North Korean economy. They also have a lot more to lose than the United States. So they have been constructive. I would expect that the United States and Trump is going to be more cautious about the tariffs they are thinking about rolling out against the Chinese, as well as restricted access of Chinese companies into the U.S., if they're expecting that China is going to continue to play that role. The Americans are the ones that drove that linkage, and now, of course, Trump is going to be a bit captured by it.